Good morning students, this is your social science class. Today we are going to see India, its resources and industries, unit 4 in geography. So in this chapter you know about the resource and its types and about renewable and non-renewable sources, distribution of industries in India and the problems of Indian industries. So all these things I am going to learn in this chapter. So let me go through the introduction. Any matter or energy derived from the environment that is used by living things including humans is called natural resources. So natural resources is nothing but energy which is derived from the environment, okay, some source, okay, that might be the main source for everything, okay, which is used by other creatures also, like living organisms. Even living things like humans also make use of the natural resources. Example: air, water, soil, minerals, fossil fuels, plants, wildlife, etc. So we use all these things, right? Air, water, everything we use. So these are called natural resources. Natural resources are classified on several bases based on availability, and the resources are classified into two types. So natural resources, it has been divided into two types. One is renewable resources and another one is non-renewable resources. Renewable resources means which can be used again, okay, natural regeneration, it can be regenerated, we can use it again for future use. But non-renewable resources means that we cannot use it for future use, okay. Solar energy, wind energy, biogas, tidal energy, wave energy, so all these are renewable resources. Non-renewable resources means coal, petroleum, natural gas or fall under these categories. So now we are going to see about minerals. Minerals is a natural substance of organic or inorganic origin with definite chemical and physical properties. So minerals is nothing but things we found in the earth, okay. For example, salt, oil, coal, everything we extract from earth's surface, right? Earth. So that is all good for our health also. Salt, oil are very essential for our health. So these are called minerals. So minerals is also classified according to the physical and chemical properties. They are classified into metallic and non-metallic minerals. First we'll see about metallic minerals. Metallic minerals are the minerals which contain one or more metals in them. So one or more metals combine together and forms minerals are called metallic minerals. So for example, iron, manganese, copper, bauxite, nickel, zinc, lead, gold, etc. So these are the metallic minerals. Metals, it's nothing but metals, okay. So we'll see about all these things. First we'll see about iron ore. Iron ore is the most widely distributed elements of earth crust, rarely occurs in free state. So it is one of the common mineral which is distributed in the earth's crust. So lithosphere, endosphere, we have seen all those, no? So on the earth's crust it is distributed. It enters the composition of many rocks and minerals, especially from igneous and metamorphic rocks. So it has the composition, it enters into many rocks and minerals, okay. So in many rocks and minerals we used to find this mineral, right? So some states in our country, right, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, all these are very good leading producer of iron. Next we'll see about manganese. Manganese is a silvery grey element. It was very hard and brittle in nature. It always available in combination with iron and other minerals. So manganese, it is a silvery grey element. It will be in silvery grey. It is very hard, but it can be broken easily, okay. So it must be very hard, but it is easily broken. So it is always combined with iron. So it is an important mineral which is used for making iron and steel. So Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Goa, Andhra Pradesh, so these are the places where we can find manganese, okay. It has been largely deposited. Next we'll see about copper. Copper is the first metal that prehistoric man has started using for many purposes. Being flexible, it can be used into utensils of any shape, brass and bronze, are obtained when the copper alloys with a zinc and tin respectively. So copper, it is the main metal which has been used by the early man. Okay. So it is very flexible and it is very useful for making vessels which we use for our cooking also. Many materials and metals, utensils will be used by it. It is obtained when copper alloys with zinc and tin. So how we can obtain it is brass and bronze are obtained. So these two metals can be get when we combine this copper with zinc and tin. Okay. So large reserves of copper are Rajasthan, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Meghalaya. So these are the places where we can find copper. Next we'll see about bauxite. Bauxite is an important ore from which aluminium is extracted. So we use aluminium, right? We used to see a lot of aluminium foils and all. So that is all extracted from the bauxite. Being light in weight and tough, aluminium is used for the manufacturing of aircraft and automobile engines. So it is also used for manufacturing cement and chemicals. Next we'll see about the non-metallic minerals. So these minerals do not contain metal in them. That is why it's called non-metallic minerals. Limestone, mica, gypsum, nitrate, potash, coal, petroleum. So these are the non-metallic minerals. First we'll see into mica. So in ancient time, mica is used for the Ayurvedic medicine. It is very popular in the development of electrical industry. It is very good quality. Abrak is a good quality of mica. So it will be very thin sheet, flat, colorless, elastic and incompressible. So major deposit of mica are Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Odisha and Jharkhand. Next we'll see about limestone. Limestone is associated with rocks composed of either calcium carbonate or double carbonate of calcium and magnesium of mixture of both. So limestone is always associated, always combined with the rocks composed of calcium carbonate and double carbonate of calcium, magnesium and all. So limestone also used in the industries of soda ash, caustic soda, bleaching powder, paper, cement, iron and steel, glass and fertilizers. So soda and all we used to use in our daily life, right? Sometimes we used to use it, bleaching powder, so paper, cement, everything. So all these contains limestone in it. Next we'll see about gypsum. Gypsum is a hydrated sulfate of calcium which occurs as white, opaque or transparent minerals in beds of sedimentary rocks such as limestone, sandstone and shale. So it is an hydrated sulfate of calcium. It is very white in color, opaque, which means the light does not pass through it. It was all found in the sedimentary rocks, okay, like limestone, sandstone, everything. So these are used in the manufacturing of cement, fertilizers, wallboard, okay, soil conditionings. So Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh are the major producers of gypsum. Okay, now we'll see about non-renewable energy resources. So it cannot be reused. The first thing we are going to see is coal. So coal, it is a type of black mineral that is dug, which means that is mined from the ground and burned to give heat. So it is also called black gold because it is mainly used for many things in our country. It is always associated with the industrial development. So many of the industries are dependent on the coal. Coal is very important source of energy which has very much uses. It is used in production of chemicals, dyes, fertilizers, paints, explosives, everything. Okay. About 2% of India's coal is of territory type and is mostly is found in Jammu and Kashmir and Assam. So next we'll see about petroleum or crude oil. So petroleum is a very costly product, right? The word petroleum has derived from two Latin words, petro, which means rock, and oleum means oil. So it is obtained from the rocks of the earth. So it is also called mineral oil. So it is also called as crude oil. Okay. So petroleum is a source of power and fuel for automobiles. We all used to give petrol to our automobiles, right? Like our bike, four-wheeler, car, lorry, everything, for all those things, right? Automobiles, aeroplane, ships and all. So it is also one of the non-renewable resource. Once it is used, it cannot be used again. We'll see about natural gas. Natural gas usually accompanies the petroleum accumulations, so it is used as a source of energy for heating, cooking and electricity generation. It is also used for fuel for vehicles and as a chemical feedstock in the manufacturing of plastics and other organic chemicals also. So natural gas we use in our daily life purpose also, right? So India has a very large production of this natural gas. Okay, so now we'll see about the renewable resources of energy. So the first one is hydropower. Power generator or the hydropower or water power is derived from the energy of fast running water is called hydropower. So we get this energy from the running water. It is considered as one of the most economic and non-polluting sources of energy because it is very low in cost and it is very good for the economic wise, right? So the cost of production of hydroelectricity is also very low when it compared to other renewable sources. Okay, so it is also flexible mode of power generation and the quantity of production can either be increased or decreased very quickly, adapting to changing demands. So according to the demands it can be increased or decreased, or it can be adapted quickly. So National Hydraulic Power Corporation is located in Faridabad, India. So Darjeeling is a place which has been established the first hydroelectricity power in the year 1897. Next we'll see about solar energy. So simply if you want to put in words, mean the light and heat that comes from the sun, that is sun, that is called solar energy. So solar power is used in water heaters, refrigerators, drying, street lighting, cooking, pumping. So we all know that is solar energy is very important for all the things. Okay, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan are the very big products, solar power produces. Next we'll see about wind energy. Wind energy is extracted from the air floor which is used in wind turbines. Okay, so power from windmills are used for pumping water and sail propel ships. Okay, it is very plentiful, renewable and widely distributed, clean and produces no greenhouse get emission through during operation. So these plants occupy only a less space. So wind energy is also a very important thing in it. Next we'll see about biomass energy. Okay, next we'll see about biomass energy. So this biomass energy is obtained through biodegradable materials like animal dung, kitchen waste, city washes, agriculture waste. Okay, so these energy derived from biomass is mostly used for domestic purposes. Next is about tidal and wave energy. So this tidal energy, it converts energy obtained from the tides, which means the waves, into useful forms of power, that is for electricity. So now it is not used that much, but it can be used in future for many purposes. So next we'll see about industries. The first thing we are going to see about cotton textile industry. So cotton is made from the natural fibers of cotton plants. So have you all seen cotton plant, children? But it is very rare in our place, but we all used to wear cotton clothes, right? So cotton textile industry is a very important industry in our country. So currently India is the third largest producer of cotton and has the highest large mark and ring spindles in the world. So India is very famous for the cotton purposes. Next we'll see about jute textiles. Jute is a low priced fiber. It is used for many purposes like making bags. So it will be blended with cotton and wool to produce textiles also. So it is a second important textile industry in India after cotton textile. So after cotton, jute is the very big important textile industries in our country. So the first jute mill was established in the year 1854 in Kolkata at Rishara, okay, by an Englishman called George Auckland. Next we'll see about silk industry. So we all used to wear silk sarees, silk shirts. Silk is a very important material which all would like, right? So India is well known for the production of silk from the ancient time itself. So it is the largest silk producer. India is the largest silk producer throughout the world. So Karnataka is the largest producer of silk. Other major producers are Jharkhand, Kashmir, Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh. Next we'll see about sugar industry. Sugar can be produced from sugarcane, sugar beets or any other crop which have sugar content. So it is mainly extracted from sugarcane or other crop which has sugar content in it. So but in India we used to get sugar from the sugarcane. Uttar Pradesh is the largest producer of sugar because they produce about 50% of the country's total. Okay, other producers are Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. So all these are the producers of sugar, which sugar is a daily used product, right? In our life we used to use it daily. So it is also a very big important industry in our country. So next we'll see about the major challenges of Indian industries. So Indian industries also have many challenges, though it has very big growth. It has few challenges also. Let me go through it. So shortage and fluctuation of power supply. So often we used to get power fluctuation, right? Current power cut and all, right? So shortage is also there. So this is one of the major problem. And non-availability of large blocks of land. So we don't have enough land to construct the industries. Non-availability of cheap laborers. So laborers also we are not that much available. And lack of technical and vocational training for employees. So the employees who come for the company also, they were very lacking in technical and vocational wise. So technically they were not well versed, okay, their knowledge will be lacking. Inappropriate living conditions nearby the industrial estates. So and a high rate of interest for borrowed loans. So high interest. So to run the industries, they face a very big consequences. So these are the major challenges of Indian industries. So soon it should be eradicated. We all should come out of that, and India must come in a very normal way, right? So we'll do all our best to make Indian industries a very big one, very powerful one, right? So I hope this would have been understood by you children. Go through the video and audio again and again, so you'll get to know all the things clearly. Thank you.